A while ago, we looked at an awesome 45 from H&K. Well, today, we're going to look at the opposite 45 from H&K. I'm Chris with Jerry'sOutdoorSports.com, and this is the H&K USC. My first exposure to the H&K UMP was actually in Rainbow Six Vegas. I had finally cycled back to the States and gotten to play it, and it was on full display. The corn-fed, bar-brawling son of the refined and elegant MP5. How could it not be the best subgun on the market? I've beaten the game with it, and my God, Rainbow Six Vegas was a good game. If Ubisoft ever wants to start making good video games again, another Rainbow Six would be awesome. But anyway, as credits rolled, I decided to take a trip to my local Texas gun store, and can you imagine the dismay when I was handed this? When I was handed this, I was hurt. How could H&K do this to me? What had gone so wrong in its Frankenstein transformation into this? The pistol grip has all the ergonomic elegance of a rough-hewn 2x2, and the safety, despite being better placed than that of the MP5, is darn near impossible to reach because of that crap pistol grip unless you have obnoxiously long fingers. The thumb hole stock is adorned with hard rubber on the cheek rest and buttstock, and these tiny little holes for the H&K mash hook sling that's provided, but given that it's a 3-point sling and they've placed these so poorly, the sling is never comfortable and rarely convenient. Now, the magazine on the H&K USC is actually kind of a shining point. You've got a giant paddle there, so extracting an empty mag is easy. And there's the most minuscule of beveling on the magwell, so you don't have to fight it too hard to get a fresh magazine in there. And given that this was designed during the assault weapons ban, I can cut H&K some slack on still providing it with a 10-round magazine, but it's been over for a long time. Let's get something realistic. One thing that's present on the USC that's pretty much not on any of the legacy products is a bolt hold open with a bolt release. This massive button right here will send the bolt home, but H&K also chose to retain the MP5 style charging handle, so you can still do the H&K slap. The USC has a hooded post for a front sight, and your choice between a peep sight and a notch in the rear. The front post is pretty coarse, and if you're running the notch, the hood's big enough that it actually kind of interferes with an equal light, equal height sight picture. And the peep is massive. It really is more on the order of like a ghost ring sight, making getting precise hits past 25 yards a little bit difficult. I really hope you're never faced with a hostage shot if you've got nothing but slick sights on this. That being said, H&K did include mounts so that you can easily mount an optics rail on there, as I think the designers really wanted the end users to be running optics all the time. But this begs the question, Why was the optics mount not there to begin with? So the trigger is actually surprisingly good. You have about 6 millimeters of take up before you come to a nice firm wall that as you pull through it, there's about 4 millimeters of over travel. And then letting back on that 4 millimeters of over travel, you have a very distinct, audible, and tactile reset. It doesn't really take much effort to get good with this trigger. Now, the recoil on the UMP and USC is actually shockingly hard. Not like 300 Win Mag or buckshot hard, but if you go from shooting an MP5 to picking this up, it's going to feel downright uncivilized. And that's because the UMP and USC family uses a blowback operation versus the HK's roller delayed system. It's that roller delayed system that has given the MP5 a reputation for light recoil and controllability, whereas the UMP USC family was designed around being cheap to produce and easy to scale up to 45 ACP. The blowback operation paired with the extensive use of polymers in this lightweight rifle result in a recoil that is snappy. It's not unpleasant, but it'll certainly wake you up. The USC shoots well enough and was 100% reliable, but then why am I so put out with it? Well, mostly because it's just a shadow of the soul that exists beneath it. The UMP just drips cool, and it was one of the first systems to really look forward to mounting accessories like optics and lasers. And I totally get that HK had to work around the assault weapons ban, but that's been dead and gone for a long time, and all HK gave us was a palette swap from a distinctive grade to just basic black now. But all hope is not lost. A cottage industry has popped up around restoring USCs to their proper UMP grandeur. Tommy-built tacticals are the gold standard of converted USCs into UMPs, and for about the same investment as you made into the initial USC, you can actually have a UMP clone. The USC is a sad reminder of a company that made some of the coolest products in the world and chose to never give us any of them in their pure form. But it's also a reminder that the third party in this industry does some of the coolest things that you can imagine. It's a reminder that no matter what's taken from us, we can always get it back in one way or another. But maybe the real trick is to never let it go in the first place.